Hey, it's Shane with GotRom.com. This video is called Hip Mobility and Why It's Not the Key to Everything. And I know, Shane, you're thinking, you always talk about hip mobility. It is the key to everything, but no, it's actually not. There are some people, believe it or not, who already have enough hip mobility, and they actually need more hip stability and motor control. So for those people, I want to talk to you today about a basic kind of flow, a process of how you can take your unstable hips, which are already hypermobile, and how you can get them to be a little bit more stable, a little more controlled, and then progress that into more complex patterns. So the basic premise that I got from a great teacher named Ido Portal is isolate, integrate, and improvise. Even in physical therapy, they have that kind of basic progression of like starting with very isolated exercises, adding in more complex exercises, and then getting back to kind of full return to sport, cutting, agility, improvisational kind of movements. So when it comes to the hips, say if you're someone who has FAI and you're already hypermobile, how do you isolate, integrate, and then improvise? Well, in the FAI Fix program and some of our videos on YouTube, we have videos about isolating the hip muscles in various ways, where you kind of strengthen them in very kind of targeted ways. And it's good to kind of go through that kind of beginner, kind of boring phase a little bit, to be frank. But you need to learn how to develop a very strong mind-muscle connection between all of the muscles in your hip so they can work in a coordinated fashion, stabilize your hip in all planes and all directions. Once you've kind of gone through and done your due diligence of isolated strengthening of your hip, then you progress to integrating that into more complex multi-joint movements like squatting, deadlifting, hinging, starting to run, things like that. And you'll have taken this kind of enhanced mind-muscle connection, and now you'll be bringing it into more complex patterns. The final progression of improvisation, or return to play, like actually playing your sport again, shouldn't be just jumped right to. You should literally walk before you run. If you're someone who has FAI, hip pain, and you are isolating, you're building strength back, you're coming out of your pain, you start lunging, squatting, deadlifting, you don't have any pain with these kind of slow, controlled movements, you don't just jump back into max speed sprinting and cutting and agility. That's the last final phase, but you have to kind of ramp up to that over a series of months and weeks. But I think that if you isolate, integrate, do your basic kind of classical gym strength training exercises like squatting, deadlifting, lunging, hinging, one-leg RDLs, things like that, and then start to walk, and then start to jog, start to do a little bit of maybe slide board agility work or some gentle agility work, and then slowly ramp up to gain speed, I think that you'll find that your journey of hip recovery is much smoother and you won't have as many kind of setbacks and things like that. So isolate, integrate, improvise, and enjoy. Yeah.